In this demonstration, we're now going to use the ARM copy function to create multiple copies of the storage account that we created in our previous demonstration when we created the storage account via an ARM template. So let's begin by going over to Visual Studio Code. Okay, and the first thing we need to do is go in and look at our resource block, and you can see this whole section that I'm going to highlight is the section we want to copy again. And let's say we want to do it actually 5 times. We want to say create 5 new storage accounts, but we don't want to type this code in 5 times. We don't want to paste it there again and again and again. So the first thing we need to do is, if we just look at the name, we are going to run into a slight issue because our unique string, which is based off the name storage plus the unique string based off the resource group ID, is only going to be unique 1 time. So we want to do it 5 times. So the first thing we need to do is add in a function at the beginning, and it's called copy index. So we'll add a parenthesis, copy index, and put in our brackets and put a comma in as well there. And that's now going to take the index for the count, which we'll get to in a second, add it in front of the word storage, and then I'll still add our unique string as well. Our parameters, we haven't changed anything there. They're still being passed by the Azure deploy.parameters.json file. That's for the SKU name, where we define standard LRS as the SKU for our storage. But we do need to add our count now, so this goes ahead and iterates, let's say 5 times. So we go down to properties at the bottom, let's put a comma after that so we can declare copy, then put our colon in, our curly braces, and let's give this a name. So we'll call this storage copy, and then we're going to give it the count, which we said would be 5 times, and that is it. So let's go ahead and save that. And what I've done, if we go over to PowerShell, and I've already created a new resource group, so I'll show you that with the variable. So $RG, you can see I've got a new one called SL-ARM counts, which we'll look at in the portal in a minute. And I'm going to go ahead and use the exact same command in PowerShell to go ahead and deploy that. The only thing I've changed there is the deployment name to count deployment, but everything else is basically the same. So let's go ahead and run that. Now, if you get an error like the one on the screen, just go back over to Visual Studio Code and check you've got all your commas in there. You know, we added some variables. In fact, I can see it already there in the copy function. We forgot the comma after storage copy. And so we'll save that again and try one more time. And we can see that's going off now. So we'll go over to the Azure portal. And we'll go into our resource group SL-ARM counts. And looks like 1's already there, so it's gone through the loop 1 time. Let's refresh. So 2 and 4 are there as well. And if we refresh again, we can now see all 5 are there. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because the loop starts at 0 and we counted 5 times, that's why we've gone from 0, 1, 2, 3, and finally 4. And with that, this concludes the demo. Hopefully this gives you a good indication on how the count loop works. Look for it in the exams and some of the ARM code that they give you on screen.